guys, welcome back to Elephants in the Room. Let's go. We're here again, episode 2 of season 2. I'm so excited to be here and hang out with you guys. It's always refreshing to talk to you guys, and just this space is just very chill, which is the way I like it. That's why I set up my studio like this with the moody lighting. I just want a chill space where I can just talk to you guys and hang out. Hope you guys had a good week. I hope you guys liked last week's episode. Well, actually not last week's, the week before, because now these are bi-weekly because I have a cooking show now called Elephants in the Kitchen, which is so fun. But the last episode was about church trauma, spiritual manipulation, and my opinion on organized religion. I hope you guys felt seen, understood, and not that I hope you related to it, because I hope you didn't, because it's not good to have church trauma, but I was super thankful for the support and the comments and DMs and all that good stuff. So today, here we are again. We're going to be talking about something that, again, is kind of uncomfortable to talk about, and something that I feel like I've gone through in my own personal life, but not something I've openly talked about. And so even though I think sometimes we feel like the things that we go through, no one else goes through, if this podcast has taught me anything, it's that a lot of what we all go through, we all share. These are very universal experiences. So I hope it helps one of you. And this isn't kind of one of those episodes where I'm like, okay guys, I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to show you how to fix this. I just want to talk about my experience. I want to talk about what I've learned, and some things that I feel like can help, but I feel like this is something that I'm still learning and I'm still figuring out. But I feel like it's something really important to talk about, and just something I feel like I should talk about. Today, we're going to talk about trying to love someone and walk in a relationship with them when you have different beliefs, or you're just very different as people, and also how to walk out what you believe in or who you are on social media, in your own personal life, how to navigate that when your beliefs or your way of life or who you are differs from the people around you and from friends and family. And I think those are two different things. They very much coincide because typically our friends and our family follow us on social media. They see our daily lives. They're a part of all of that to a certain extent. You would think that you couldn't really separate them, but I actually feel like the healthiest way to walk these things out is actually to kind of treat them separately, because I think there's actually a place and a space for both of them, and the healthiest way to handle both of them that I've learned through a lot of failure is that they're very different. Let's just start by talking about beliefs. I think beliefs, religion, whether you believe in God, whether you don't believe in God, what religion you're a part of, if you believe in religion or not, your gender, your sexuality, your profession. There's so many things that are very controversial, your political beliefs. And the ironic thing about all these things is that they matter a lot to us. They're a big part of what we identify with and as, and they're also really sensitive subjects, and they're really important things. What you believe in matters a lot, and the way you choose to live your life matters a lot, and the way you choose to identify yourself matters a lot. And so I would say that generally it's one of those things that is kind of not talked about in the essence of trying to keep the peace. But if I've learned anything in this life, I think that truly keeping peace is being a peacemaker and not a peacekeeper. I spent so much of my life being codependent and being a people pleaser and being scared and being fearful of other people and their opinions of me, and being fearful of ever hurting anyone, and being fearful of ever rubbing anyone the wrong way. I wanted everyone to like me. I wanted to fit in everywhere. I wanted to be what anyone needed. And one of the most painful and powerful things I've learned is that not everyone's going to like you. You can't be everyone's cup of tea. Like, you never will be. And you're never going to be able to keep everyone pleased with you, everyone happy with you. You're never going to have everyone like you, respect you, admire you, agree with you. There's literally no way to do it unless you're constantly denying yourself and who you are and what you believe in, all to appease other people. Like, there's just no way. But on the other end, like, there's gonna be your camp of people who do love you and who do support you and understand you. It's just not realistic to make everyone happy around you and to be what everyone wants you to be. And I think that sucks for a lot of reasons, because I think naturally we want to be liked and we want to, fit in. But yeah, I think that's really important to talk about. And I've heard this before, and I think it's so true, even though it's really hard for me to accept because of my background. People's opinions of you aren't your business. And that's so hard. That's so hard, because you're like, no, but it's their opinion of me. So like, it does matter. It is my business. It's really not. Unless they bring it to your attention, consuming your mind with what other people think about you, or thinking about what does this person think about me and this decision that I've made, what I choose to do with my life, what I believe in, will cripple you. Because the truth is we naturally are all judgmental people at our core. Now, I think there's ways that we can try to not be judgmental, and there's ways that we can try to be humble and try to see everyone with a loving perspective. But naturally, because we are all so opinionated, because we have things that matter to us, when we look at someone else and they're doing something that we don't like, or that we don't agree with, or that something that we wouldn't do, we naturally love to just be like, oh, well, I would do it different. Oh, but I would do this different. That, I think that naturally happens. And especially with things that matter to us, like religion, political beliefs, all these things, like these intense things. And so it's a really emotional thing for everyone. So yeah, like, I feel like I've failed a lot in trying to navigate this in my life. And so I want to talk about it. What does it feel like when someone you love, whether it's a family or a friend, believes in something different than you and doesn't agree with what you believe in necessarily? Unfortunately, I have a lot of experience in this, because if you guys know anything about me, I grew up LDS Mormon, and then I left the church when I was 19 after getting a divorce, and gave my life to Jesus Christ, and I'm now a Bible-believing Christian. I don't necessarily believe in organized religion, but I do believe in Jesus. And I had a really radical transformation in my life. And a lot of my family, or at the time when I left the church, a lot of my family and friends were still LDS. And if you guys know anything about Mormonism or LDS culture, especially growing up in Utah, it's pretty intense, and ex-Mormons are pretty casted out, I would say, subconsciously. I don't even think it's intentionally. I think a lot of Mormons try to love ex-Mormon people and to accept them and to bring them into their arms and try to make them feel loved, and shout out to those people. But I think that naturally there is a bit of this subconscious judgment. It happens in so many other religions too, but just speaking from my experience. And so when I left the church, it was super scary for me. Matter of fact, I didn't really tell anyone that I had left for a couple months. And even when people did find out, which didn't go the way I planned, I had someone who I did tell out of like the 5 people that I told, tell my whole family that I had left. So it definitely wasn't the ideal way for them to find out and for me to be able to share that. It was super hard. I did not receive a great reaction. It felt like I lost a lot of trust and respect. And it was really, really hard because it was the first time that what I believed in and what I felt so passionate about, which was Jesus, and which was that the church wasn't true, differed from the people that I loved. And so I had been in their shoes where I had seen people leave the church, and I had felt that pain and kind of judgment towards those people. And not that I purposely looked down on them, but I just thought I knew, you know what I mean? Like in the church, and this happens in all churches and in all religions, but specifically in the Mormon church, one of the things that the prophets say is like, even the most elite will be deceived and will leave the church and fall away in the end times. And so there's kind of this stigma that in the end times, the most elite members of the church will fall away. And so I think all my family and friends just kind of assumed that's what was happening. And so they looked at me, I think, in a sense of like a pity for me. I may be wrong, but that's the way I felt. And that was super hard because I was like, these people are pitying me, and I am doing like the thing, like I was so happy and excited to leave because, well, I wasn't happy and excited to leave. I was ready to take that step because I knew in my heart that the church wasn't true. I believed that. And I felt that I was really doing the right thing by following after Jesus and leaving the church, because I truly believed that it wasn't honoring to God to stay in a religion that wasn't true and that has a lot of corruption and things within it, within their teachings. I know men are imperfect, but you get what I'm saying. So it was confusing. I was like, these people are pitying me, but I just made like the best decision of my life. Even though it was still really hard, like that was the best thing I could have done. And these people feel bad and like have pity for me. And that just feels terrible, feels so isolating and frustrating. Yeah. So like initially it was really hard. Again, I took a lot of time to tell people. Matter of fact, I didn't tell people for a long time. I actually had a TikTok account. I blocked all my friends and family, and I started posting Christian content on there because I wasn't ready to take that step. And once I did, like I said, it wasn't received super well. And I love my family to death. If you're watching this, I love you. And there's been so much progress made, and I feel like so much love in a lot of my relationships now with my family and friends. And a lot of things have been navigated with people who believe differently than me, and I'm so thankful for that. And I feel like I've come a long way too, and I've learned how to not go about it, or ways to not go about it, ways that I've failed in a lot of areas, or not failed, but that I've learned. Things have changed. But yeah, after I didn't receive the best reaction, I also kind of did the same thing that everyone did. It's so hard because I think whatever it is that we believe in, when we feel like we found truth and we feel like we found God, or whatever it is that we believe is kind of the answer to this life and the explanation, we want to shout it from the rooftops. Like, of course. And we're just so filled up with passion. Passion burns within us for whatever we believe. That happened to me in my walk with Jesus. I was so on fire for God, and I wanted to scream it to the rooftops. And I also wanted to scream to the rooftops that the church wasn't true, because in my head, just like my family was trying to protect me and wanted to save me from running away from the church, I wanted to save them from the church. I wanted to save them from what I believe is wrong and what I believe is ultimately deceiving and just not the true church. And so we both wanted to do the same thing, and that doesn't go over well. It just doesn't. And so let's touch first on this, and then I want to touch on Coco. Here she goes. Okay, I'm trying to decide like how I want to start this. I want to make the distinction. I just want to set this kind of straight and then explain myself. I think that it is noble and honorable to yourself to be bold about whatever it is that you believe in and whatever it is that matters to you. And I think there's a space to do that. I think there's a place and a space. And I think that you can't live your whole life being scared of what people think of you. And also you can't live your whole life worried about hurting other people's feelings. Because inevitably, if you do ever share what you believe in, what matters to you, who you are, you may hurt someone's feelings. And that's just inevitable. And I think it would be a sad world if none of us shared our experiences, if none of us shared our stories, if none of us shared what we believe in. I think there's a space for all of us to do that. And I think there's a respectful way, and I think there's a way that you can do it with grace. But I think that it's good to do that. And I haven't always felt that way. When I first left the church, I felt like I couldn't be ex-Mormon publicly. And if I was ex-Mormon, I couldn't speak about it. I couldn't talk about it because it's not respectful to the people who still believe. And especially considering the fact that so many of my friends and family were still members and followed me on social media. And I never wanted to be the person that I used to look at when I was young and judge, which was ex-Mormons. There's a stigma on ex-Mormons. Ex-Mormons are loud and they're so obsessed with the church, and all they can talk about after they leave is the church. And look how unhappy they are. Like, all they care about is, talking about how the church isn't true. And ex-Mormons make their whole personality being ex-Mormon. That's like the stigma of ex-Mormons in Utah. And I never wanted to be one of those people. And I also never wanted to disrespect the people in my life who believed in it. But that led me to such a space of just isolation and also like muteness, a lack of being able to really be me and to share who I am and what I've been through, because it all makes me me. It's all a part of not only my testimony in Christ, but also just a part of who I am and the huge journey that I had in discovering who I was. And, leaving the church and getting a divorce is what led me to go to therapy and to start to heal from all my childhood trauma and become a healthier version of myself. So many good things came out of it. And it's such a big part, a pivotal part of my story, truly. And I wouldn't be who I am today without it. So tiptoeing around it and trying really hard to not say certain things or do certain things to protect other people's feelings, I did that. I did that for the first couple years. I've been ex-Mormon for almost 6 years now, 5.5, something like that. Since I was around 19 is when I started-ish leaving, and then around 20, I'm 25. And I've done that. I've done the quiet thing. I've done the respectful thing. I've done the bite your tongue, don't be that person. And now, if you guys follow me and you've seen me as of recently, I've started to speak out a lot on my platform and on my personal page and in my personal life. I've gotten a lot of backlash for sure, but I've also gotten a lot of support, and even from members of the church. And it's really set me free in so many ways to be able to share my experience, what I've been through, what I believe in, who I am. It brings a purpose to my life. It brings a peace. It brings a freedom. It leaves no room for questions. It just is what it is. That's why I always say, guys, vulnerability creates freedom. Now, I know that I've upset people, and I know that some of the things I say hurt people's feelings because it's what they believe in, and I'm discrediting or, opposing what they believe in and what matters to them. And that's hard for people, but I think that it's okay to do. And I actually think it's good to do. And I think that you're allowed to do that without feeling bad for other people. And the reason I say that, and the reason I want to talk about this before I talk about walking in relationship with people that believe differently than you, is because these things I believe are so different. And so I truly think that when you're able to be who you are and share what you believe in and what matters to you, in your space, on your profile, in your life, it creates so much freedom, and it creates a space where you don't have to do that in every relationship in your life, in every room you walk into, because that can be really damaging to loving others and to having healthy relationships. Now, I do think that if you are bold and you do share what you believe in, you should be really graceful about it, and you should try to do it in a truthful way that is honoring to people, maybe not to what they believe in, but to people. I think ever putting stereotypes or pushing false narratives on people and coming after their character for believing in something is wrong. I don't think that coming after a thing and speaking about a thing is wrong. I think it's more wrong to speak about people. And so that's why when I talk about the church and when I talk about Mormonism, I want people to know I love Mormons. I respect Mormons. I've been there. I've been in their shoes, but I don't respect the church. I don't respect what it teaches. I don't believe in what it teaches. Do I believe that Mormons are good? Yes. Do I believe that Mormons love God? Yes. And truthfully, I don't know people's hearts. I don't know why they believe in what they believe in, or how, or when, or what. And that's not my space to really speak into. But what I will speak into is things that I feel are wrong, things that I feel are untruthful, and creating a space where people who are searching and wondering can receive information, can feel validated, and can hear other people in their situation. Because I know you guys know this, but the keystone of this whole podcast is the fact that when I went through everything I went through with my divorce and leaving the church and going to therapy and realizing all the trauma I had, was that I felt so isolated. I felt like no one understood me because no one was talking about it. No one was getting on social media or anywhere and addressing these things. And so it felt like I was the only one, because social media is just a highlight of everyone's life, and that's just not real. And so that's why I think I felt so grateful for the boldness that I've been able to have, and why I think that it's okay to do that in your own life, in your space, in your way. Like, I think that it comes down to a time and a place. Now, this leads me in to my next point, which is, how do you love and walk in relationship with people, with loved ones, with friends, with family, with people who matter to you, with coworkers who don't believe in the same thing as you, who maybe actually believe in the opposite, who maybe believe what you believe in is harmful, or what you believe in is bad, or what you believe in is sick. This is a big one. I want to start by talking about some of the ways I've done this wrong in my life, and what I've learned from that. And then we're going to talk about some of the ways I think you can do it. One of the things I've done wrong is let that differing belief or opinion disrupt or determine my opinion of that person. I think it gets really dangerous when we let what people believe in determine the way we see them as humans. Now, I think there's layers and levels to this. I'm not saying that there are things that are wrong in the world. Absolutely. And I look at people every day, not every day, but there are people that I don't agree with and people that I do have opinions on because of certain things that they do. I think there's levels and there's layers, but generally if what someone believes in and if what someone believes in and the way that they choose their life doesn't directly affect someone else, I think that's kind of where you draw the line. Yeah, I think it's really easy when you believe in something because you're passionate about it, because you love it. When people are doing something opposite or something that you don't agree with, it's so easy to depict an opinion of their character based on that. And I just think it's just not an accurate way to decide what someone is based on what they believe in, because I think something that we all forget is that whatever it is that we believe in, whatever it is that you believe in, the person next to you believes in, there's a reason. No one just comes to these beliefs for no reason. And usually the reason is tied to a season of pain, a season of exploration, a season of time. Like whatever it is that people believe in, typically takes a lot for them to get to that point. No one just believes in a whole religion, believes in a, whatever it is. No one believes that God's not real, or that God is real, or to be a Republican or to be a Democrat, or all these really important things that go on in the world. No one chooses to just believe in one side for no reason, because it takes a lot to believe and to follow whatever it is that you believe in, whatever way of life that you believe in. It takes a lot. It determines so much of your life. And so no one would just do it to just do it. It's like there's a core of this. And usually the core of it is an experience or something, some experience, some information, some trauma, some wound, some pain that has led them to that point. You know what I mean? And so it's like, we cannot look at what people believe in and be like, oh, well, that's wrong. Oh, well, they have it all wrong. I have it all right. Even if that's true, even if someone in the relationship at the end of this world, the end of this life is right about something, that's not a way to walk around. I'm not saying that there's not truth. I think there is inherent truth. I don't think truth is relative. But why don't we look at people and say, oh, wow, their experience is valid. Whatever it is that led them to get to this point, something had to have led them here. And just like something led me here to believe in what I believe in, something led them there. And that's valid. People's human experiences are valid. Another thing that I feel like I've done wrong in the past is subconsciously force my life ideas and beliefs onto their life. We can't hold people to the same standard as us, because we hold ourselves to a standard of whatever it is that we believe in. And I think that it's unfair to hold people to a standard of something that they don't subscribe to, something that they don't believe in, and tell them that it's wrong. Again, not to say that there's not wrong and that there's not right. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you cannot hold people to the same standard, to the same ideal as you. Because if they don't believe in that said thing, it changes things. And so I think that we have to let there be space for people to disagree. And yes, I think there are things that are inherently wrong in the world. And I think there are certain laws and things that we should fight for to protect people. But past things affecting others, like if something that someone is doing is affecting someone else, I think that's where you can step in. But if it's not, we have to let people live the way that they want and not put our standard on them, if that makes sense. And I think sometimes we do that subconsciously because we see life through the lens of what we believe in. And so it's really hard to take off that lens. And I'm not saying that you should take off the lens, but I'm just saying that your lens is your lens. And I think that there has to be a bit of respect for the other person, knowing that that may not be their lens, if that makes any sense. Another thing that I feel like I've done wrong is that I feel like I'm a bad Christian or a bad ex-Mormon if I don't share the truth with everyone, and specifically with the people that I love, if that makes sense. I had to get over that. Because we are also called to love, and we are also called to walk with humbleness. And so I think that it's not to say that you shouldn't share what you believe in. or what matters to you with the people you love. But once you do it, you have to respect that they don't care, or that not that they don't care about how you feel, but that they don't agree and that they don't want to hear that. And I think there's a time and a space and a way to do it gracefully, for sure. But like, you are not a bad Christian if you don't tell everyone about Jesus. That doesn't make you bad. You know, there's a verse, you guys know the verse, they will know you by your fruits. Be light, be love, lead with a beautiful example. And that is true evidence of your faith in whatever you believe in, is who you are. So I think that I had to get over that hump of, well, if I don't tell everyone about Jesus, and if every time I see my family member or my friend and I don't tell them about Jesus and I don't tell them why they should leave the church, I'm not doing my job. God doesn't need you to save people, and he doesn't need you to convince people to believe in him. I have been very argumentative with specifically one of my loved ones. And I'm so thankful because my relationship with them has improved so much. But there was a season where we disagreed so hard that we literally didn't talk for months. And every time we saw each other, it was like, boom, a disaster. Because I felt misunderstood. And they felt misunderstood by me. And both of what we believed in mattered so much to us. And things that we both believed, we didn't like that the other person believed that, because we believed that that was inherently wrong or hurting others and was a part of the problem. And our beliefs were so polar opposite, and they still are very different. But it was terrible. It like ruined my relationship with them for a time, and it ate me alive because I love this person. I love this person. And to see our relationship crumble because we believed in different things broke my heart. And it was this constant wrestle of, how do I be me and be proud of who I am and stand for who I am and love this person? And I couldn't do it. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I was prideful, and I had to stop trying to control the narrative, and I had to be me, and I had to walk with love and respect and believe that by the fruits they will know me. Now my relationship with them is so strong. We had time, we had distance, we had space. I love this person so much. I've always loved them. But we can spend time together. We can be at family get-togethers. We can be together, and we can just enjoy our time together. Now, we both know what we believe in, and we both know that they kind of clash. But we've been able to find this space of love and respect. And I'm so thankful for this person. And I'm so thankful for them, because I felt like this has taught me so much. So I want to talk about some of the ways I think that you can navigate these relationships, how you can walk in relationship with people you love. And like I said, I think the first part is, in your space, in your platform, in your life, be you. And if someone has a problem with that, that's not your problem. That's not your problem. Now, when you walk into their space, when you walk into your guys' space together, that's when things have to shift. There's a difference between your space and their space and your guys' space together when you're walking in a relationship with these people and trying to love them. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to start to identify this and learn from this, because it's brought so much peace and freedom, and actually fruits of Christ in my life and in my relationship with this person. And in her own way, the same on my end. You know, she's brought so much peace and love and joy into the relationship, and I'm so thankful. And so here are some of the ways I think that we can do this in regards to walking in relationship with people who believe differently than us. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. Not everything has to be about who's right and who's wrong. That's not to say you shouldn't pursue truth. That's not to say you shouldn't stand up for the truth. But that's not what everything's about. It shouldn't be about who's right and who's wrong all the time, especially when you're trying to walk in an active relationship with someone who believes and is different than you. It's okay to believe that you know the truth and that they don't, or vice versa, but that is not what it should be about. That is not what you should consume your relationship around. Humble yourself to understand that anything that you believe in this life, even if you feel like you are 150 kabillion jillion times sure that it's true, everything that we believe in takes faith to believe in. We can't say that we know with absolute proof that anything is true. We can believe that, we can have faith in that, but everything that we do, everything that we believe in takes a level of faith. Whether you're an atheist, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Jew, whether you're a Mormon, whatever you believe in. When we say, oh, I have the truth, you can believe you have the truth and stand for that and run with that. But everything that anyone believes in takes faith. If we had the answers right in front of us and there was no way to disprove it, everyone would probably believe in the same thing. Or not disprove it. But if we knew for an absolute that something was true and there was 1000% no question, most people would believe in that. Now, I believe that there is truths. Like I believe Christianity. Like I believe that there's so much biblical truth. I believe there's so much to back up the Bible and history and facts to back up Jesus and him being God and his life and all those things. It's not to say that. But no matter what you believe in, you don't know if you're right. That's just the truth. That is the truth. You can have faith, you can believe it, but you don't know. So you need to humble yourself. Humble yourself and understand that it takes a lot for anyone to believe in something. And it matters to everyone, not just you, to that person as well. This next thing is so important. It's okay to not engage in topics or subjects that you know will trigger either one of you or lead you into an argument. It's okay. I feel like people think it's not okay. Oh, no. You can't avoid things. You have to talk about them. No, sometimes it's okay. If there is a general understanding of what you both believe in, which will naturally be there if you are both individual people, whether it's where you've shared it with each other, you've heard it through the grapevine, it's on social media, whatever, you will generally know by what someone's life looks like, what they believe in. You don't have to talk about it all the time. Especially if you know that you will argue with them, that it will lead to bitterness, that it will lead to triggers. I fought this fight for so long with this loved one and other loved ones where I was like, well, no, it's fine. We'll just talk about it, but I'll just be nice and I'll just be respectful. And sometimes it just didn't work that way because religion and politics and ways of life, we're so passionate about them. They're so emotional for us because they're so important to us. It is so easy to get so heated or to get so emotional when we're talking about them. That's normal. That's good. It's because they matter to us. So it's okay to know, hey, I know I'm either going to get really, really intense or really, really emotional or really triggered if I talk about these things, or that I could. So I'm not going to. So when I'm in these situations with these loved ones that I disagree with, when certain things are brought up, I will politely move on to the next subject with them. I'll be like, oh, well, let's talk about this. Or let's talk about this. And I feel like we've all gained a general understanding that when we're around each other, we shouldn't really talk about these things because it's only ever led to destruction of our relationships. And so generally, we're pretty good about not bringing up those things. But occasionally, if outsiders come in and they bring up those things, I have found so much peace and freedom in just trying to politely move on from the conversation. Move it. Keep it moving. I think we all know how we feel about this one and we're not going to agree. So let's just keep it moving. And that has created so much freedom in those relationships and peace. And I'm so thankful for that. I said this before, but another thing is know the time and the place. There are going to be moments when you're walking in relationship with people that believe in different things in you, where you can share your heart, where you can share your experience, where you can share what you believe in a nice, respectful way. But if it is not received well, you have to let it go. And you have to respect and love them enough to give them the space to not hear it and to not engage in that conversation with you. And that doesn't mean that they don't love you. That doesn't mean that they don't value who you are or what you believe in. It just means that they're choosing to believe in something different. And that's okay. Like, that is okay. I went on a podcast, like an ex-Mormon podcast recently with this amazing girl. It's actually, by the time this episode comes out, it will already be out. It's called Girls Camp. Her name's Haley Raleigh. She's great, amazing, such a sweet girl. I went on her podcast and it's all about post-Mormonism. And you guys know him. I love Jesus. I'm a Jesus-loving gal. And she is agnostic. And there were a lot of things that we didn't agree on and ways of life that we didn't agree on. And in that conversation, it was so refreshing because we were able to hear each other out. We were able to talk about some things. And she said this to me at the end, and I was so thankful. She said, this has been, I don't know her exact words, but she was like, this has been refreshing. And even though there are a lot of things I don't agree with that you believe in, I feel like you actually are hearing me. And I also feel like you're not trying to catch me. You're not trying to catch me in words. So like, for example, a lot of times when we talk to people, especially when they have different beliefs than us, we'll try to like subconsciously catch them in like a lie or catch them in an area where we know we can like interject and be like, okay, well, this, to kind of like prove that your point is right. And she said, I appreciated that you didn't do that. And that made me sad because I was like, that's a real thing that we all naturally do. Like, we are on our toes, ready to find the thing that we can like interject in to prove that we're right. That's not a way to have a conversation with someone. That makes people feel invalidated and unimportant. And it creates such a space for argument. Now, it's not to say that when you listen and when you have a conversation with someone who believes in something differently than you, that you need to listen to everything they say, that you need to validate everything they say and say, oh, you're right, you're right, you're right. Oh, yeah, and cower down to what they say. No, stand for what you believe in, hold your ground, but have an open mind and an open heart. Because your perspective may change on things. It doesn't mean your beliefs necessarily have to change, but your perspective, your empathy, your understanding may change for that person or for what they believe in because you're hearing an experience that you haven't lived before. And that is so essential to our growth in life, to becoming empathetic people who understand that we're not always right and understand that other people's experiences and lives are valid. Full-heartedly listen to people. Don't listen to respond. Listen to listen, if that makes sense. That has changed my relationships. The next thing is validate. Validate people's experiences. Just because you don't believe in what they believe in, just because you haven't come to the conclusion that they have, does not mean that the experience that they went through to get to that point isn't valid. It's so valid. And if we started understanding and validating people's experiences, I think it would change the way we walk in relationships with people. And I think it would change the fact that a lot of people don't walk in relationship with people that are different than them. But I think we should. I think it's good to have relationships with people that believe in different things than you, that live different lives than you. I think it's a little ignorant to only surround yourself with people who believe in what you believe in and who love what you love. Not to say that that makes you a bad person, but if you want to grow and if you want to have empathy, I think that's such an important step. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of things and caught up in what people believe in and what they don't and your perception of that. But I think this may sound cliche, but just seeing people for them, see them for their smile, see them for their laugh, see them for their personality, see them for their talent, see them for their pain, see them for their hard experiences, see them for things separate than what they believe in, especially when you're walking in a relationship with a loved one, a family, friend, coworker, whatever, that believes in something different than you. It's okay to separate that belief, to try. It's hard to do, but try to separate that belief and just see them for them. See them for what makes them other than that. You know what I mean? The last thing that I feel like is really important is just to celebrate people. Celebrate people, celebrate their wins, celebrate them being alive and trying to believe in anything, because it takes a lot to even be alive and to believe in anything and to fight for anything. It's like, put yourself in their shoes. If someone believes in something different than you, if someone's doing something that you don't agree with, there's a reason. And just like there's a passion burning inside of you, there's a passion burning inside of them. And so I think that when we can just celebrate people and not try to understand every part of them or every reason for why they're where they are, and just love them and celebrate them for where they are right now, it's so powerful. And not trying to think, oh, when this person believes in this, when this person gets to this point, no, love them for them right now. Just love them for who they are. Love them for where they're at. Don't see them any lower than you. Don't look at them from a victim mentality. It's okay to stand up for what you believe in. There's a time and a space to do it though, and there's a way to do it. And I wanted to talk about all of this today because this is something that has been so present in my life and something I'm navigating. But I think that it's so important to talk about these things and to address this elephant in the room. And I think that it can create a space for us to create healthier relationships with people that we love, because it's just so inevitable that you're not going to always live life surrounded by people who look like you, who live like you, and who believe in the things you do. And if we cut everyone out of our lives that is different than us or believes in different things than us, I just don't think that's a way to live. And I don't think that that's what we want, because I think there is a way to love people purely without agreeing with them, without believing in what they believe in, without agreeing with the way that they choose to live their life, without understanding them. There's a way to love people regardless, but it takes work and it takes humbling yourself. And I'm learning that, because I have struggled with this. I've been so prideful in this, and I've not done it the right way, and I'm trying to do it the right way. So, yeah, I think it's okay to speak truth, but do it gracefully and do it with love. Don't do it from a place of superiority ever, because it takes faith to believe in anything. And then the last part I have is, don't just say that you love them. Show them that you love them. And I think this is unique for every relationship, but I think there are ways that we can show people we love them and meet them where they're at. And it doesn't always have to involve what we believe in or what we don't. You know what I mean? I think there's a way to just love people and separate it from those things. Serve them, ask them about their day, spend time with them, learn about their interests and their hobbies. And those are my ways that I think I've learned through doing it the wrong way, that I can start to do it some of the right way. So yeah, guys, this was a fun episode. I love sharing my heart with you guys. I love talking about things that matter to me and things that I'm going through, and hoping that it reaches someone on the other end. And hopefully someone feels understood and heard. And yeah. Anyways, I love you guys so, so much. I do want to just close out with a prayer, because that's just a me thing. It's just a Jesus thing. But then I'll say my little rant. But let's close out with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I just pray to you right now. I pray over anyone watching this. I pray over anyone who is struggling in their relationships with people that they love. Anyone who is fearful about how to navigate what they believe in and what matters to them in their life, on their social media, in their workspace, in everything around them. And God, I just pray that you lead people to know exactly how to walk in love and in truth. And God, I pray that you bridge the gap and that you shine light on these dark areas that aren't talked about and that aren't navigated. And God, I know there's a way, and I know that you know all and you love all. And so I just pray that you help us to find that way, God. We love you, Jesus, and we say this in your name. Amen. Thanks for being here, guys. I will see you guys in 2 weeks because obviously you guys know this is now bi-weekly. If there's any subjects or things that you want me to talk about, let me know. If there's any guests that you would like me to have on, let me know. And if you guys want to support me, you can obviously support this podcast by reviewing it, leaving a comment, sharing it on your story, following me on my podcast channels. I have a YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all Elephants in the Room, and Spotify, Apple Music. And then if you guys want to support me in other ways, you can go and follow me on my personal social medias, Nicole.Donna. You can go and watch my cooking show, Elephants in the Kitchen. That's on YouTube, Instagram, and that's just Elephants in the Kitchen. And yeah, until next time, guys, I'll close this episode out by saying, what elephants are in your room? My name is Nicole, and I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks.